Hi, everyone. My name is Franco with Ren Marketing. I'm here with Bryan Roach, Miami real estate agent.
How's it going, Franco? How's it going, everybody?
Hi, everyone. So, today we're going to be talking about how to build a personal brand in real estate. So, of course, building a brand is extremely difficult, especially in an industry that is very competitive, such as real estate. So, essentially, what we're going to be doing today, we have Brian here, who's an expert in real estate, and he's been doing this for many years, and he already has a really good feel for how it is to approach real estate marketing, branding, etc. And as I always tell everyone, why learn things by yourself if you can learn things through the help of an expert, just like Bryan Roach, right? And what we're going to do today is we're going to be asking Brian a few things, some questions that will help us be able to understand how it is that we can improve personal branding in real estate, as well as learn a little bit about what have been his challenges and some of the successes he's had throughout his career. So, what to expect in this event? Well, we're going to be starting off with those questions, and then you'll be able to have your Q&A. So if you have any questions, you'll be able to ask it in the comments section, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we'll be able to see those questions. As well as at the end, we're going to give you some contact information. If you are interested in getting in contact with Brian, maybe you want him to help you find a home, if you want him to help you sell a home, you'll be able to get in contact with him there. And then we'll be able to take the conversations offline. So, introducing Bryan Roach, right? So, Brian, he studied with me back in high school, so it's been a while, right? It's interesting how time has flown. It's been more than a decade now, and now we're both in different tracks. I'm doing marketing, you're doing real estate, but it's always good to know that we're always pushing forward and building our own networks, growing ourselves personally and professionally. So, Brian, tell us a little bit about what got you interested in real estate.
First of all, thank you, Franco, for setting this up. I think it's amazing that we get to share what we do. I think what you guys are doing in Red Marketing is amazing for a lot of business owners. If you guys have not checked them out yet, I highly suggest you do so. Um, and and it has been a long time since we spoke. We're very good friends, and I appreciate the opportunity and the platform to speak to everybody here. Um, what got me into real estate originally, I started when I was 18. So, at 18, I was coming out of high school. We were all coming out of high school. You were 1 year ahead, so you got a head start. But,
Yeah.
getting into college, you're thinking, man, what do I do? Do I go for internships? Do I go for, a typical job just to make some money? But I was looking for what I was passionate about, sales, which is very diverse because you can jump into any industry in sales. But when I met with a family friend of mine, introduced me to real estate, told me all about it, learned it, realized how diverse real estate is. Real estate is not just sales. You could do many things. You could do property management, you could do sales, you could do financing, you could do development. So all that aspect just showed me like, okay, there's a lot of room to grow here. This is not just a career that has a very short ceiling. You could do endless amount of things. You can invest. So once I learned into it, I jumped right into the first thing that I thought about was sales because that's what I'm passionate about. So
Mhm.
I got into learning how to get my real estate license. I got my license while I was still 18, starting out college, and it was a balancing act trying to learn a brand new industry, which none of my family members have ever been there before. Learning the industry, learning how the business, starting at the same time, and that's pretty much how I started off and what motivated me to get started into the real estate industry.
Mhm. Okay, and then when you got started in the real estate industry, has it always been residential, or has it been a mix of commercial? How has that been? How has
That's
that
a good.
changed actually in the last few years?
That's a great question, Franco. So it did start residential, and I branched off to do commercial as well. Still, my main clientele and bread and butter is residential, but I have helped multiple families, buy and sell warehouse spaces, office spaces, rent office spaces or warehouse spaces. So I have done that as well. And I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, but in my extracurricular studies, I did actually a master's specialized in international real estate and finance, which just further taught me how to analyze these deals in the commercial world. Highest and best use of properties, multifamilies, developments, things like that. So I'm not your
Yeah.
typical agent that just studied in the local real estate school for a month with a license. I've done more in-depth studies and invested heavily in my education that specifies in real estate. So
So you actually studied finance as well.
yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
cool. So
Right
yeah,
here at FIU.
yeah.
FIU.
No, I
Uh,
remember we met again at FIU at one point, but no, it's good because I think, especially when it comes to business, right? And I work with a lot of businesses. Really understanding finance is important because it allows you to be able to demonstrate the value that you provide people, which value at the end of the day is what sells, right?
yeah,
You're trying to grow yourself as a real estate person, or just a salesperson in general. You need to demonstrate value because that's how you get people to buy. And sometimes if you're able to demonstrate that, you're spending this amount, but this is what you're going to get at the end of the day, and you are able to communicate that effectively, then you're able to get that deal. So
exactly.
throughout those years that you started doing real estate, what have been some of the challenges? Because you mentioned that someone talked to you a little bit about real estate, but of course, in my experience, it's been where whenever you start something yourself, or you start doing something yourself, there's going to be a lot of things that you don't know, right? That you learn with experience.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like you said, you're jumping into a new industry. You don't know anything about the new industry, like nothing. Like you don't even know how to set yourself up to how to structure legally, financially, operationally for yourself in that industry. So honestly, the biggest struggle at first, because obviously I did a lot of studying, went to a endless amount of networking events,
Yeah.
classes, tutoring, like not tutoring, but we say it's like trainings, uh, script practicing is fundamental here because at the end of the day, you are representing a family, whether they're looking to buy or sell. And real estate is, for most of us, the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. So yeah, people buy stocks here and there, but they'll invest in crypto, but you can go and invest whatever, $100, $200 in crypto and stocks and call it a day. And if you lose, it probably won't change your life if you lose the $100, by doing a bad trade. But if you make a bad decision in who you work with in the real estate side, you could be out a couple $100,000
Hmm. Hmm.
more. So I first started educating myself, rigorously the first 6 months, and the biggest challenge was once I felt comfortable in, that I managed all the information well, expressing that confidence out to the other people that were deciding to work with me. As
And
an
how old is
18-year-old with no facial hair,
there you go.
it's, yeah, yeah. So as an 18-year-old with no facial hair,
Yeah.
uh, going around trying to get families to trust you, like I said, with their biggest investment, not even buying or selling, even if they just wanted to rent the place. I'm sure a lot of people saw me and they would say, "Hey, can this guy, does he even know what he's doing?" Like, so showing them, and I knew what I was doing at first because like I said, I focused on educating myself first
Hmm.
before going out there and just trying to help as many families as I possibly could because I felt comfortable that way. It's like learning the product. When you're selling a product and you don't know the product, it's hard to sell it. That's
Hmm.
what I was doing in the first couple of months in the industry. So once I got at that age, 18, 19 when I started, that was the biggest hurdle. Trying to express and trying to get people's trust at the beginning
Hmm.
to work alongside me and give me a chance to help them make a move.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the facial hair because I totally understand where you're coming from. Where, when you're starting off doing something on your own and you're young, a lot of people consider that you're inexperienced, which you are inexperienced, right? When you get started.
Yeah,
But to be able to build, I would say, to make someone feel comfortable with what you're saying, you do need to present yourself in a certain way.
yeah,
And maybe that's why we have facial hair now. No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
But no, it's definitely a challenge, and of course, over time, I think that's where you start realizing what ends up being a good deal, what ends up being a bad deal in real estate, where that actually gives you more, I would say, or builds more trust with the person you're talking to because they can see different angles that maybe you wouldn't have known back when you were 18 years old, right? That's like the case for me. Whenever I speak to someone, I can tell them, yeah, I've actually worked with a company in this industry, and then they're like, okay, he must know more about what
What
I'm
he's
trying
doing.
now
Right.
because I've never done it, but he's already worked with these companies. So I can see what that is, which ends up being extremely valuable, right? To be
Yeah.
able to have those experiences. And when it comes to then getting your first clients, right? How did you get your first clients in real estate?
That's a great question. Aside from the hard work, sweat, and tears, I would originally, because again, going back to what I said before, I'm 18 years old. No one at 18 years old in our circle of friends or group or family or
Right on.
known individuals is buying a property.
Yeah.
Not even moving, because everybody, a lot of the times, were either still in college, living in dorms, or living with their parents. So
Mhm.
I said, okay, I got to get myself in a circle of older people. So I would go to these networking events,
Uh-huh.
and I started doing a lot of door knocking. And then when I started getting listings myself or of other agents, I would do open houses as well to be present. I realized that my strong side was being face to face with people
Mhm.
because I was able to express myself better, and you build more rapport. And going back to building trust, even at 18, 19, being face to face with people, they realize, oh man, this guy's working hard. Like he's very passionate about what he's doing. I'll give him a chance, and let's talk about this, talk about that. And what I was very careful of doing at the beginning was, if I didn't know of something, because obviously a lot of things were new for me at the time,
Mhm.
I would make sure that I was like, hey, you know what, so and so, Mario, Maria, whatever his name was. That's a great question. I'll get back to you by the end of today. I'll make sure to verify this question for you or this concern. So again, to show them that I was, you know, passionate about what I was doing, young, productive, and at the same time, I was honest with them. If I didn't know something, I wasn't just going to tell them an answer just to
Yeah.
compare with the question.
Yeah, that you were honest because, like you mentioned, if this is going to be one of their biggest purchases and they don't really feel that you are letting them know everything that's out there, of course that can affect them. But talk to me a little bit more about the door knocking and the open houses, right? And the reason I ask that is because it is going to play a role, or at least the commitment to doing those things is going to play a role in that. Look, it was difficult then, right, to do those things. And doing content, building a personal brand is also difficult because it's something that you're not going to see the next day. It's something that you're not going to see the next month. It's something that's going to take some time to be able to get going. So how did you get around to doing those things, and really what was your mindset back then?
So my mindset was just trying to get in front of as many people as I could, face to face. They
Hmm.
always talk about, in real estate, it's very common to say, hey, get on the phone, start cold calling, cold calling. And yeah, I tried that for a while at first, but that there was a disconnect, because then people would just hear, sometimes obviously you get nervous at the beginning when you're starting off, and they would just hear those nerves in your voice, and they wouldn't want to even hear us for you to finish the first sentence, and they'll already hang up on you. Face to face, people tend not to, even though they did anyways, but some people did, they tend not to shut you down so quickly. They at least hear you for a couple of minutes before they close the door on you. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
listen. You see
that's a
all
good
the
point.
good and the bad. I've gotten doors thrown in my face. I've gotten dogs being released. I've gotten the cops called on me. But it's doing the work. I would door knock a lot of houses, and in some cases, I've had very nice ladies or guys. Hey, we're just come on in, have a cup of coffee with us, and I would sit with them and talk about real estate for an hour and a half. And that was my goal: getting face to face with them, showing them that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. This is what's out there. If someone needs to buy or sell, this is what we could do for you today. And then a lot of people, like you said, it takes time. It's brand
Yeah.
building. I would go out in the Miami heat sun, 90, 95-degree Fahrenheit, with suit, tie, or bow tie, jacket on, dress, shoes, and I would go door knock anywhere from 40 to 50 houses a day. Um, yeah.
And it's crazy because when we started Ren, actually we did a few cold calls, and to this day one of the people that we did a website for, like back in 2017, we still work with them, right? Which it's
Wow.
crazy, but even now, right, sometimes we do some cold calls to some people in some industries where we're like, okay, we know we can get them results, so
Yeah.
let's see if we can get in contact with them. One of the things that we found out is that, of course, you're going to have some people that are not going to like what you're doing because they just don't have the time to listen to you. But then there are also some people who value that a lot because you're the only person that has ever them to talk about something. right? In my case, for example, I get robocalls all the time,
Yeah,
right? I get robocalls all the time, but whenever I get a person who's calling me about a particular thing, right, even though it's not a call that I'm expecting, if it's a real person who has some value to share, that's something that I'll pay attention to. Might not need them right now, but it's something that, okay, great. Now I know this. Now I know who I can hire or work with for something down the road. So I can, it's going to the same, I would say, mindset that you had when you did that is also going to translate into with what you're doing now, because it's all a long-term strategy, right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
there it's a long-term strategy there, because whoever's door you knocked on, they might not be in market right now, but who knows, maybe in the next 6 months, because you're the person who showed up and spoke to them for 30 minutes, you're the person who's going to get the job.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And funny enough, the people that I door knocked their house in those communities, to this day, they'll see me because I started in the Doral area. So to this day, they'll see me and like, oh, Brian, I got your flyer from that day. I still have it in my fridge. So like people remember that because it's not very common. And again, I think there's pros and cons to everything. So when I was younger, still pretty young. When I was younger, starting off, like people that are in business like to see that passion in young individuals, so they can relate and they can share. They appreciate that, even though they might not do a transaction with you. They appreciate that they might refer you to somebody else that does need your service. So
Yeah.
it works.
Which I think we're going to go back to these points in a few, because when it comes to building a personal brand, it's a lot of, I would say, similar to just walking in the sun, right? When it's really hot outside. Because when you're sharing content, you get 10 views, most people would be like, oh, it's not working,
Yeah,
right? And then other people are going to see it as an opportunity to identify maybe something that they can improve on, or in general, just get known for something that they are constantly doing. Which brings me to my next point, right? My next question. What marketing efforts are currently working for you now?
so I'm I've definitely shifted more towards digital. Obviously, online is if you're not online, it's going to be hard for people to find you.
Mhm.
um, right now I'm being very strategic about my email drip campaigns. I mean, just for the record, I've been in the industry already for 10 years. So I've been able to build a good foundation of clients, people that know me, other colleagues, investors, pretty much a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I'm very strategic about my email drip campaign, making sure I provide value to the people that have been able to provide me their contact information, have spoken with me before, met with me before. And how am I providing value with content creation? So I committed about, wow, it's almost 4 years, 2019, almost 20, yeah, 2019 for sure. I committed on video. Video is the next thing everyone's talking about. You got to do video. Posts are going to be the dinosaur age of social media. You got to do video, video, video. So then I committed to doing video every week. I try to be as consistent as possible. Obviously, there's some weeks and months that I'm more consistent than others, but you got to build it brick by brick. And these videos, I would share them via email as well,
Okay.
and
Nice.
also through other social outlets. So Instagram. I'm very big on Instagram. Like I'm very active on Instagram, Facebook as well, Twitter, TikTok wasn't active at the time that I started doing content, but now we're posting it on TikTok as well, and we're forwarding that YouTube and also to our email campaign. So people that have met with me, I'll send them uh, emails structured with nice thumbnails and things for them to click and look at videos, which is a lot easier than just reading a long paragraph that no one's going to read.
Yeah.
I prefer to just send them a link. Hey, this is how you can get a lower percentage interest rate in today's market. Click on the link. The people that are in the market are doing that. So click on it. The people that are not may just look at the email and then move on. But the idea as an agent is to make sure you are seen. Hey, Brian sent me another email again. Okay, Brian is working. Brian is informing us. Brian is bringing us value. So maybe
Yeah. It's some
maybe
kind
they
of
don't transact with me, but their brother, sister, mother-in-law, whatever, they might transact and they might need someone, and then
yeah.
get referred.
Yeah, it's what I told you. Well, it's what I shared the other day, where it's like On my feed, there are a few real estate agents that I'm connected with, but you're by far the one who's most consistent, right? So if you tell me who's the one person that is in real estate that you know of, and I think immediately you. I mean, the next person is Ryan. What's his name?
Ryan Serhant.
Sirhan, right? Because
That's
I
the goal,
remember
my friend. That's the
that's
goal.
the goal.
He's the real estate goat in branding, just so you know. But
For
he's
sure.
he's in New York. He's definitely a role model.
Yeah, yeah, no. But apart from him, it's I mean we're connected, right? But the fact that you're always sharing content lets me know that you're still in the game,
Yeah,
right? Which is important because I know that there are a lot of people who are doing real estate,
yeah,
but most of them are not currently like doubling down on what's working, and it's because it's a lot of work, right? It's
yeah,
not like creating a video is just something that's super easy. I know you set down some time to record, edit the videos, maybe send them out in those emails. Which, if you're watching this video, right, I think that what Brian mentioned about sharing emails is valuable, extremely valuable, because not everyone is ready to buy right now,
correct.
right? But it might be 6 months down the road, a year down the road,
Exactly.
and I think that that goes a long way in not just nurturing the person who's interested, the potential client, but also building a brand for yourself. Because if you're the one who's always consistent there, and when that person who's getting that email receives something else at this time, during which now they're ready to buy something from you or sell or work with you to sell something, you're going to be the one to get the job, right? And but that right there, those email drip campaigns, that essentially is also helping your personal branding um, I would say efforts.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. And like you said, most of the time that I meet with someone,
Mhm.
they are not thinking of transacting today or this month or next month or in 3 months.
Mhm.
But you never know. A year, maybe this at the end of this year, they say, hey, you know what? Now I'm ready to make a move because they're increasing my rent on me, or because I need to sell to invest in my business that I'm starting up. I mean, whatever. Everybody has different needs, and as an agent, you want to make sure you're in the forefront. A
Mhm.
lot of people are on social now. A lot of people are very, technologically advanced, have their emails on their phones,
Yeah.
uh, always on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram. So I try to my best to be on those platforms, posting on a daily basis.
And I'm sure that also helps you with your returning customers, right? Because I'm sure that there are some people who maybe bought a house today, maybe 3 years later they want to sell their house and then buy a new home. And if you're still consistent, they know that they can count on you to get something done, right? Which I think it's important to share because I come across some businesses that sometimes they just focus on that transaction. And if
Yep.
they don't see it right away, they give up on what they're doing,
Yep.
right? Some of
Yep.
them get that transaction, but they don't acknowledge or they don't really understand until it's explained to them that the value can be amplified, the relationship with the customer might be amplified if you really take care of them, right? If you focus on retention.
Yep.
I think is extremely important, especially now. I mean, we'll get into the current environment, right? But I was reading something where when it comes to buying a home, it might be very expensive for some people right now, where maybe renting might make more sense, right? And like you
Right.
mentioned, something getting expensive for someone, then they need to move somewhere else. They're most likely they're going to need to work with a real estate agent. So as
Yeah.
long as you're consistent and they know that you're still there for them, they're going to come back,
Yeah.
right? And for the person who's in this business, that translates into sales, which people that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for building relationships, but at the end of the day, also making sales so that we can continue to cater to these customers.
Exactly. And I have a perfect example of that, of nurturing a client. Like as an agent myself personally, I'm not here for just one transaction. There's been multiple times that I've had to, forfeit, you know, time, money, energy, even an entire deal to make sure the client is well taken care of. And I've
Mhm.
been fortunate enough to have good clients of mine that have transacted with me 3, 4, 5 times. Just and it's funny because we all grow together. With the first transaction that I might have done with this person, might have been 21, and now his business is growing, so he's moving Miami, Tampa, Orlando, all these areas, and they keep on calling me back to help him make a move. I had this one client that I just closed on Friday, by the way. He ended up he was from Venezuela, moved here. He had a property here in Madera that was an investment property where he actually ended up living in it for a while. Well, then his business moved from Miami to Tampa. I helped him. I helped him. Well, before he moved, I helped him sell the property in Doral, help him buy a warehouse for his company here in Doral, then sell the warehouse, then buy his house in Tampa, then sell that one to move to Orlando. And the house just kept on getting bigger and bigger because he was growing. And now he just
Yeah.
moved back here to Miami because his business came back over here. Ended up buying a $2.1 million house. So
Mhm.
it on social is nice and neat. Everybody just sees the results. It's a lot of work
Mhm.
on staying on top of mind with these clients. But if you put in the work, like you said, it's a building block. You'll see the benefits 1, 2, 3, 4 years from now.
Mhm. And for most business people, especially in a lot of industries, for example, dental industries, in most cases, they won't make a profit in the first year with a new customer, because it's just so expensive to acquire a new
Yeah,
customer,
yeah,
right? But they know that, if you have a dentist, you're going to go to them next year, maybe twice a year, and you're going to stick with them for several years, right? Which I think is important, not just to look at it, like you mentioned, not just to look at it as a transaction, but as a relationship where you always have to be there for them, even when they don't think they need you, right? Just being there on social media, because at some point they're going to need you, right? And I know, I'm sure, because it's happened to my parents before, where they've hired someone for something, and then the next time, a few years later, where they need something, they hired someone else because they've completely forgot who the first company was,
that's the
right?
worst thing that can happen. That's just the lack of your services, my friend. Lack of
Yeah.
being present on whatever platform or whatever industry you're on. You know.
Yeah. So as simple as it could have been to just maintain some type of communication. Maybe it doesn't need to be, sending out postcards, but it's just, sharing content, connecting with people on social media. Maybe even like a call a year just to see how things are. I mean, that might be too much, if you have a bunch of clients,
Right.
but that can go a long way to people remembering who you are for when they need you, or for when they need to refer someone to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's great. And now for the next question, right? And you discussed setting up some time to create content, to really educate your followers, and this is really where we go into the personal branding aspect, specifically the content, because I'm putting up here the Instagram, because you have a lot of content. You have tons and tons of content, right? You have videos with, I think I saw a video with one
Take
point.
a look at.
What is
That's what I was going to tell you. I didn't mention. I wanted to surprise you with it. So going back into your point on the building blocks of brand awareness and branding,
it?
like I said, I committed, really committed to being consistent with this in 2019. And like you said, it's like a stab to the heart. You dedicate 3 hours of editing, recording, and then you get 5 views, no comments. Like your mom won't even share your own content. Maybe how bad it
Oh, 100%.
was. So then recently, last month, I had posted a video talking about how you can help reduce your mortgage payments. And that video just went viral. I think I'm about to hit 2 million views. I'm at 1.95.
Yeah, you're at 1.9.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1.9. And it's been crazy. I've acquired in the last 30 days. Go up a little bit. There you go. 1.9. There you go. 1.9 views. There you go. 1.9 million views. And I'll show you the stats. And again, this is just the building blocks. Eventually, I mean, obviously the algorithm changes every time, but if you stay consistent
Yeah.
with it, eventually you're gonna get a golden egg or a diamond from all the content that you've been creating. I'll show you really quick here. The most impressive. I've never seen so many numbers before. Let me see if you can see this. Oh my God, this is insane. 1.9 million 700,000, 1.97. There's
Uh-huh.
47,000 likes. Most importantly, there's 90,000 shares
90,000
and there's
shares.
56 plus thousand saves.
56,000.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's
Let me
that's
see if I can come up with a random number, or not a random number, just a number here.
so again, that's going back to the power of social, keeping in front of staying in front of everybody. The video is only 30 seconds, and if I were to cold call someone and just have a 30-second conversation with them, how long is it going to take me for me to speak with 2 million people? It'll take me an
Hmm.
entire lifetime, I think. to speak with
Yeah.
2 million people to relay one single message. So the ability of content is that it lets you mass produce trust for
Hmm.
you to show your expertise in your industry in your area. And you know what, you're not going to be the cup of tea for everybody, but you got to find the people that are looking for someone like you with your personality, with your traits, with your passion, that are looking to work with someone like you. And this is a huge tool for me and for us as agents down here.
Hmm. And if I can just add something here, because that 1.9 million, I like to translate things into like numbers, right?
Right.
So let's say you're in real estate and you want to reach 1.9 million people. The cost to be able to do that might be around $9,000, because Facebook charges based on 1,000 impressions, and let's say $5 per 1,000 impressions. That's going to run you about $9,000. So of course, it's not always going to be the case where that happens, right? But look, if you're able to get one or two customers out of that, and slowly you're able to build your network, guess what? Those people are going to go to the person that they know,
Right.
right? Because there are right now, you can look on Google, you can look on Facebook. Well, people don't look on Facebook for real estate agents; they go to Google, right?
Right.
If they see you on there, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, I've seen this guy," right? So I think it just goes a long way into not just having views as vanity metrics, which that's one thing to keep in mind. But the other thing is, if you continuously do that, there's value in there. In that, some of those views, I'm sure some of those people at some point they're going to say, "Hey, remember this video? Let's Brian now to see if he could help us buy a home." Um, which now to this question, right? How have you been able to build your personal brands? What are some of like the pillars that you'd say someone who is interested in using content, using digital to be able to implement to build their personal brand online?
I think that question is great because it makes you think. First of all, how do you want to be remembered, portrayed, seen in your industry? As the shady agent that just check, as the person that is, trustworthy, transparent, looking out for your best interest, as the knowledge broker, as the celebrity broker. I mean, I know agents that do about rapping in real estate, and then that's their thing. You have to
Yeah.
find within your passion, what do you want to be known for? I feel that, well, I'm very passionate about the industry. I'm very numbered oriented, so I like spreadsheets, rate of returns, all this type of calculations. So I try to be the knowledge broker for the people that know me, that follow me, that receive my emails, and provide them information. Hey, you know, if a 1% increase on interest rate is going to mean that your monthly payment on a $500,000 loan is going to go up $300. A 0.5% decrease is going to mean you're going to save $150. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's you have to choose a path. I think, and again, I could be wrong, but I think for what I've done, I chose my path of what I'm passionate about, how I want to be seen in the industry as a knowledgeable agent, sharing all the tips, hacks, quirks that the industry has.
Hmm.
Um, and then people come at, and I also that helps me gather my tribe. Okay? It helps me gather the people that are like-minded, like myself, that are looking to put their money in a safe place, whether it's investing in their first home or their retirement home, their second home, that they're thinking ahead, 2, 3, 5 years ahead, what they're going to do with their money, investing in real estate. It helps me gather that type of people because I want to work with people that are in the same frequency and mindset as myself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of getting started and being there long enough
Yeah.
for people to remember what you do, and then eventually to say, "Yeah, I need to work with Brian to be able to make this happen." So, one of the things I've noticed from all of your content that I think is very good, and the reason I say that is because I remember a few weeks ago I went to an event and I spoke to a real estate person, and I asked them about the current environment, right? Because of course interest rates are higher. Generally that means that if you buy a home right now, it's not for everyone, right? It might be
Right.
expensive for some people that really can't afford it. But in this case, this person told me that home prices are never going to go down. Like they always go up, and that didn't really sit well with me because we know what happened in 2008.
Yep.
But one of the things that I like about the content that you share is, like you mentioned, that it's the informative aspect of the content, which I know it's tough to always create because you have to tell yourself, I might not get anything out of this piece of content, but it's like a stepping stone until one day it does start paying off, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the what are some of the things you look at when you think about creating the content? Because I think for most people in real estate, creating content is something that they'll be able to get started today,
Yeah.
right?
They
They
can. They
start
have a
creating
phone. If you have a phone, you can get started today.
exactly. It's generally it's free because all you need is your phone, and most people have a phone. As opposed to doing something else like running ads or even implementing a drip campaign, because most people are. It's not that easy to create a drip campaign if you're not very technologically savvy. But with cameras, you could create a video today.
Yeah. 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 You can, and it's just a matter of, like I said, I think you got to choose a path of what you want to consistently record about. Are you the person that likes to? Again, and I'll just give a couple more examples for you. You want to give tours of these multi-million dollar listings. I know a lot of guys on YouTube that were agents, and their branding was just focused on doing multi-million dollar property tours, multi-million dollar property tours. They ended up making more money through YouTube and those multi-million dollar property tours than through real estate, and they stopped being a real estate agent to focus on that. That's how good they were at being able to execute on their branding strategy. Um, right now, like I said, creating content, and I'm trying to push it out into all the different outlets. You will find me on Google My Business. I'm using that platform as well. Facebook, Instagram, I'll be there as well. TikTok, not as active, should be more, but we're definitely posting. We're posting there as well. I just have to be more intentional about it. And continuing the bread and butter of every agent, which you cannot get off track from this, is your personal database. You got your family, your friends, your neighbors, people that have already worked with you. At first, you have no one that they don't know how you work because they've never worked with you. But once you start building that foundation of clients, you got to nurture them. Just leave them neglected just because they transacted with you 2 years ago. Because then it will happen what you said. Hey, my mother renovated whatever the bathroom with some GC, and then she wanted to renovate the kitchen, and she forgot the guy's name because he never called back or whatever, and then she did the kitchen with somebody else. So
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's extremely important just thinking long term. You know, it's funny enough. So I started doing these videos because in one way, in one aspect, I really liked the whole learning from others because I realized like 2 years ago that there's just a lot of time and money that I could save by learning from others. That's what I learned, right? A book, I don't have one right here with me, but a book, if you read it and it's a good book on what the industry you're in, it can save you a lot of money, tens of
yep,
thousands, if not more, and it could save you time, right? So that's what I'm doing with these videos. And one of the things is that in a way, it's also helped me with personal branding as well because actually a few days ago or maybe like a few weeks ago someone saw my first two videos, the one with Fabian and Xavier, and they mentioned that they liked the videos and that they also wanted to be part of one, right? So
yeah,
it's one of those things where you have to be consistent. Of course it's difficult to be consistent, but as long as you're able to be consistent in whatever you're doing, people begin to connect you with that thing that you're doing, right? Oh, you're doing videos on businesses. Okay, great. You're doing video on content. Great. They'll see you as the real estate expert because that's what you're sharing content about, which that's what we want, right? Branding is tough because it's meant to be long term, right? It's not something that you're going to see results with right away.
something that I know that it's good for you because, and I appreciate again you bringing me onto this because you are with these type of videos, you're able to connect with business owners on a deeper level. You're coming at them from the side of service. I want to service, help, information, value, not just hey, come use my service now. You're not asking them. You're giving, giving, giving,
Yeah.
and I think by human nature, we all feel great, right? Because you're providing us a platform to speak, and we want to also find a way to give back to you. So I think
Mhm.
it's a great thing that you're doing, and if consistency is key. If you stay with it, I'm sure you're going to see a bigger return couple of
Yeah.
months, years from now. You keep on doing this.
Yeah. It's slow, but there's something that I shared on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, kind of in a way influenced by Julio, who's always like very focused on fitness, right? It's if you go to
Right.
the gym, you're going to and you lift weights consistently, you're going to build muscle. If you
Yeah.
take salsa classes and you do that consistently, you're going to learn to dance. If you create content and you do it consistently, you're going to be known for what you do down the road. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of being consistent. And with that being said, what are some notable points or things that you think right now, if you have a real estate agent that's watching this video, what are some things that you think that maybe they should do or think about next time they are trying to build their personal brand?
So when you're trying to build a personal brand, like I mentioned earlier, I think you got to find your niche of what you want to be viewed as, right? You want to be that the funny agent. There's a lot of people that make funny content or do funny things, or you want to be, a person that is around a lot of people to do many events, host events. Um, I honestly, the way I like to be seen is as transparent, hardworking, honest. And there's a lot of things that you could do today to show that for clients. For example, the question that you mentioned earlier, that I want to make sure I answer. For example, how do people get to buy a property in today's market with the wearing with low inventory and high interest rates? We've never seen this before because usually
Yeah.
when interest rates go up, inventory will shoot up because people are not buying houses. But inventory is still very especially in Miami, and rates have been high, but it hasn't deviated any of the inventory that is coming into the market. So it's a very tricky market to handle. And yeah, like you said, there are some people that may be in situations where buying a property today may not be worth it for them. If you're coming out of state for an internship for 6 months or a year or a year and a half or 2 years, maybe buying might not be the right option for you unless it's like you're going to buy a property in an area that is very easy to rent with high returns. So you don't mind living there a couple of years and then you're going to go back to your state. Then yeah, it'll make sense for you. If you're thinking bigger picture, long term about having a little piece of real estate down here that can generate you some cash flow. In other cases, people that have been renting for 10, 15 years that they could buy, they just decide not to because they say, oh, I don't want to, whatever, fix anything in my house. I don't want to be responsible for that. But yeah, they're very narrow minded. They're thinking about, um, okay, you're not going to spend $600 in fixing a washing machine, but if you calculate how much you've paid the landlord, you've already bought that property, that apartment, or that house 2 times over in 15 years of renting. So it's like there's two types of people, and as an agent that's starting off today, I think you have to understand what you want to be known for, and then once you get a chance to be in front of the clients, you really got to be honest and transparent with them. Not everybody's going to transact with you. You got to know that. Not everyone's going to transact today. They might transact with you, but a year from now. So you got to go into these conversations with people as, in my opinion, this is how I do it. Bringing them as much value as you can for them to see, hey, yeah, this guy is definitely looking out for my best interest. So they don't feel like, oh man, this agent has commission breath. He's just trying to sell my house, get a commission, and never talk to me again.
Yeah.
That's not where you want to be at. You want to be in the side of service and help from these families.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be the case that you're just thinking about selling because, like we just discussed, the relationships can go past just one transaction, right? And in most cases, you should want there to be multiple transactions, right? Right now, if I tell you, do you want one customer one time or do you want that customer four times? I'm sure you'd love to have that customer do four transactions, right? But the
Amen
way
to that.
is to make sure that they always keep you in mind and that they trust you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I'm gonna leave this open right now for questions. If anyone has any questions, one of the questions I have is: are there any tools that you're using when it comes to creating your content that you think others should look into?
Yeah. I, at first, if you haven't done any videos or content before, um, my the model that I'm part of the Tom Ferry ecosystem. The model that we do and we hear and we practice in the Tom Ferry ecosystem is that done is better than perfect. So even if you don't have the last version of the Canon camera with the nice lighting and the cool background, that's fine. Grab your phone, record yourself, saying something about your industry, whatever. You could sell shoes or bicycles. You could be an attorney or a dentist or whatever. Say something, that relates to what your industry is about. Make it relatable. You're not going to be going online and start saying a bunch of words that no one's going to understand either. Make it relatable, but you got to start somewhere. The tools that I use are for editing. I use CapCut, which is free. I think anyone that's doing video should definitely use that.
Great.
Yeah. And for email drip campaigns, I use a program called BombBomb. It's fantastic. BombBomb, if you haven't heard of it, it's a video first based email program where you can, in your emails, include videos that are not very heavy, so they go through quickly and it doesn't land in people's spam, as if you post a video a different way. And also you can track and measure everyone that's opened your emails, clicked on your links, how many times they've clicked on your links and seen your videos. It's very, very user friendly. It's called BombBomb. That's for email drip campaigns. The other stuff that I've done is mainly, like I said, blood, sweat, and tear, door knocking, open houses. To do that, you got to make sure you bring value to these clients. When I would do that, I would actually come. I would do my research first, and I would tell the neighborhood, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, were you aware that your neighbor just sold their property for $450,000, and he received 8 offers on that property? By any chance, do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell? Because there's 7 other families that are looking in the area that might be able to help them, make that move. So, bring them value. Hey, a lot of people say, I didn't know that Juanita was selling her house, and she got what? $450,000? Oh no, I did a pool. I wrapped my house in marble. If her house is worth $450, then my house is worth at least $500. Would you sell for $500? And then that's where you get, your foot in the door.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So
and yeah, it's always doing the unscalable things that get you started.
Yeah.
Right. So then you're able to do more. And I think the video email platform, I actually have it open here because I think it's great. I've never heard of it before. Is it just for real estate agents, or is it for every type of industry?
It's for anything. Look, I'll try to see if I can show you how it works. I'll show you just a glimpse of the benefits. Let me see if I can share my screen. Do you mind if I share my screen for a sec?
Go for it.
So if you go to
great points. Thank you, Fabian. We appreciate you.
Oh, Mr. Fabian.
Mr. Fabian.
Mr. Fabian. So you can see my email here?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to an email, take a look where it says BombBomb here on the top. It integrates to your Gmail.
Okay.
And you have this little icon right here that's like a pop-up that shows like a record button. Mm-hmm. And not only that, there's other things you could do. You can save, like if, for example, as a realtor, I send some emails so many times that instead of copy pasting, I'll go to this place that says snippet, and I can already pre-save the emails that I use, and just click on the snippet. It'll automatically write out the entire email to a different person. Like for example, how to get qualified for a loan, the documents needed to rent a property, buy a property, sell a property. So I already have predetermined emails here. That if, for example, look, in Spanish and English, documentos requeridos para aprobación de crédito inmobiliario. I'll just click here, and it automatically shows the entire email there. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to add a video to it, this is how it would look. I will click here on the record button. Can you still see the record? And it's like, well, I'm not sure if it's going to work since I'm going live with you now.
Yeah,
but
this might be risky. Yeah.
So, and it looks pretty cool. Look, I'll show you this. I'll show you this, how it looks here. So I'll send an email, and the email will have a nice moving emoji of my face with the video of me explaining whatever I'm explaining.
Nice.
Make sense?
Yeah.
That's just the surface of it. And the back end, you can start looking at all the things like how many people, opened up your email, how many people clicked on the link, saw the whole video, how many seconds of it. There's a lot of things that you can track and measure to improve. Oh, and you can also do email blasting with BombBomb as well.
And I think that's neat in the sense that I know that when you have greater creative, right, you get a higher open rate. just
Yeah.
like when you have, for example, in marketing, we know that when we show an image of a person versus an image of like a static object, the one with a person is going to get more clicks because as humans, we're attracted to a face.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that you can use that platform to be able to share a video, and I'm sure you get even higher open rates whenever you send those out. So that's pretty neat. I'm gonna have to look into that because
Yeah.
um, with email open rates as low as
It's
they are
super
now.
powerful, and I think
Brian, can you hear me? Hello, Brian. I think Brian got disconnected, but we'll see if we can get in contact with Brian right now.
yep,
There
yep.
we
I'm
are.
here. There you go.
Yeah, so I was losing you there for a moment. I'm gonna add this down here. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, they'll be able to contact you at broach.realtor@gmail.com. Of course, if you are looking to buy a house, sell a home, you just cater to Miami, right? Or
Well,
anywhere else?
I service the entire state of Florida. I honestly focus mainly in what is Broward County and Miami-Dade County, even though I can still help you. And I have helped other families, like I mentioned earlier, that need to go to Tampa, Orlando, Naples. I've also helped them make that transition as well.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, if you found anything in this video useful and you have more questions for Brian, make sure to reach out to him at the email listed here. And then, of course, if you're looking to work with Brian, you can reach out to him there as well. So Brian, again, thank you very much for participating in this video. It will live on forever because it is on your YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on LinkedIn, everywhere. So that's what I like about this. And if you are watching this video and you're interested in watching a few other ones, we're going to have a few more coming up soon. So, of course, follow me on LinkedIn, Franco Aquino, and that way you'll stay in touch. So, with that being said, is there anything else you want to add, Brian?
I wanted to thank you, man. This is an amazing opportunity to to reconnect and make sure we show everybody and express to everybody what we're doing and again being service to them. Whenever a business owner needs your marketing services, you guys are the Rent Marketing is the place to be at. I know you guys will take good care of them. Same thing over here. Anyone that's looking to make a move, buy, sell, invest in real estate, put the money in a safe place, they can count on my help to be able to make that for us to make that help for them to make that investment. So I appreciate the opportunity, Franco. You've been amazing, and let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I think that this is and Luz mentioned great content, so thank you, Luz. I think this is great, man. This is just one of those things that we're gonna have this content for years to come, and we can only get better, right?
Yes, sir. And I want to give a quick shout out to my broker that I love very much, Luz Abreu. Thank you so much for your comment and your applause. Un abrazo.
Thank you. All right. So with that being
All
said,
right,
thank you
Franco,
very
we'll be
much.
in touch.
We'll call it a day for today, but we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Franco. Take care.
All right, take it easy.